Hi everyone, welcome to the live stream. We have Sahbi with us today, Kabir, Ravish. Welcome guys. It's been an international break, quiet week, maybe not entirely quiet. There are still some things we can discuss today. Mostly, we will start with the general shareholders meeting that was held on Friday. Ravish, you were there, so it's going to be extra interesting. You can tell us from the inside what you saw and how you experienced it. Let's start with that right from the bat, and then we'll talk about other stuff as well. There is new news coming in as well from Football International about Martinez, the guy from Venezuela. Apparently, we're not going to get him. There is more news coming as well. So let's talk about those things later. Let's just talk about the general shareholders meeting. Everybody was anticipating this one. Ravish, you as well. You told me that a few weeks ago. A lot of angry fans, shareholders. They all had questions. They all wanted to ask stuff. So I'm going to give it to you. How was it?
Messy, long, partly annoying. It all started with Annette Moosman, who opened the meeting with a statement about mislintat. Actually, she tackled that topic right away by starting to tell that there's an investigation ongoing by Accountants Office KPMG.
Yeah.
Afterwards, she introduced Leo van Wijk and Michael van Praag. And Michael van Praag had a speech. And in that speech, he told everybody that he wants that Ajax become the Real Madrid again of the Netherlands. So everybody was quite surprised and quite laughing about that fact, because looking at the table, looking at how everything is going now at the club, and then you come with this to compare the situation now and telling that Ajax need to become like Real Madrid, something he also told in 1985 in an interview with the Parool. So that was quite interesting to hear. Van Praag was like his old self again, really wanted to help Ajax together with Leo van Wijk. Leo van Wijk, former chairman of Air France KLM. He wasn't that happy to make his comeback, Leo van Wijk, because actually after he resigned as chairman, he was done with these kind of activities. But when Ajax called him, his heart told him that he needs to come and help the club. The same for Michael van Praag. During the meeting, you could see that, like I said, Van Praag was quite annoyed by the fact that people really wanted to say they really want to give their thoughts about what's going on with the club, and Van Praag really wants to have a look back in the year 2022. So that made it quite annoying, because each time people wanted to say something about Ajax, about what's going on right now, he said, please keep it to the topic, which I could understand, because we have a look back instead of what's going on right now. But everybody knew that this was the right time and place to talk about what's going on right now. If you saw how many people of the press were also attending this meeting, I attended a lot of those meetings the last couple of years, and the crowd was huge this time. VI was there, Het Parool was there, Algemeen Dagblad was there, even Ajax Showtime, you know them, were also present. So yeah, it was quite an interesting meeting, but at the end, we didn't get much info we wanted. The only thing that was really surprising was the fact that AZ didn't want to talk with Ajax anymore about Alex Cruz. I think we can talk about it later. And yeah, that's it. There was also a part that people really started to leave the meeting because it took more than 3 hours, while it was scheduled for 2.5. But that's because of Michael van Praag really wanted to continue real quickly. We were thinking that he might was thirsty or something, because at a certain moment he really wanted to end it. And some fan was so pissed about that he offered him a course of leadership, because he was so pissed off about the way Van Praag was talking to us as shareholders with such a negative tone and a little yeah, neerbuigend. Don't know the English word.
Belittling, yeah, belittling a little bit, yeah.
Belittling, yeah, and that made some of those people angry. Yeah.
All right. One of the things that I've read is that there were 200 people there, more or less.
Yeah,
You
correct.
also mentioned briefly that they started immediately by taking away any questions that there might be towards Sven Mislintat, because there is an ongoing investigation. So they could not say something about it. It's also a forensic investigation about transfers. Asabi, I want to go to you. You also read the articles about the shareholders meeting. Yeah. Anything else that maybe stood out for you? What Ravish was saying, or maybe something you want to highlight, basically?
Yeah, I mean, there are some certain points that I want to highlight which caught my attention, mainly due to the article. Is the point related to the statement of Suzanne Lendering, the financial director? Because we all know the shit that's going on. Pundits are talking about Mislintat, how he was able to ruin everything and so on, and that he took all the decisions and so on. But then she stated about the fact that there is an approval process from start until the end, which involves several people. I think 15 people were involved, and at the end, also two statutory directors need to sign off. If I'm hearing all those things, and then in the meantime, I'm hearing only blaming Mislintat, that doesn't add up. I mean, of course, many of those players come from Mislintat, but there are so many people involved. If also the directors that are involved, it can't be just him. We can't just blame him, and that's my point that I would like to raise, because everybody's pointing. The pundits are all pointing at one person, but this is if it's a failure, I don't see it still as a failure. It should be a collective failure and not only failure of Mislintat. So that's one thing that I want to point out. Other point other point that I want to raise is the fact that which is quite interesting, is that Alex Cruz wasn't there at the meeting, and it has all to do with the commotion on the books on the book that came out, whereby he was stating his opinion and about Mislintat, and I think that's odd as well. I mean, there's a new CEO, there will be a new CEO, and the first thing that the CEO needs to do is create a little bit of calmness, peace, and calmness. But what he actually did is adding fuel to the fire by stating the negative things related to the club, the decisions being made by the club, and that's not something that I like to see or have liked to see. So that's an interesting thing that came to mind. And furthermore, small things like the new to me is the credit facility that has been opened for 100 million for this season. So there's a huge loan that Ajax took from a bank. I wasn't aware of that. I don't know whether you were aware of that one, but that was quite new to me. And I mean, that was basically the main points that came to mind, in addition on what Ravish already stated.
Yeah, Ravish, you want to react? Go ahead.
Yeah, the fun part was the last point about the loan that Ajax took. People people were asking about that, and that Suzanne Lendering didn't want to confirm the amount of money that Ajax can loan. So a couple of persons, also Gerben Everts, he's the chairman of the shareholders. They have their own agency, if I pronounce it well. He's trying to pulling it out also about the transfers. And at that part, Michael van Praag stood up and told the guy, listen, you're now talking like a fan, because we cannot already say that all those 12 people, those 12 players aren't good enough for Ajax. And the other thing, you said something else, Sahbi, you were talking about the loan, and they're talking about
Cruz, maybe?
Cruz.
Yeah, Cruz. Yeah, about Cruz. I disagree a little with you because I also read the book, and in my opinion, of course, he will be appointed as a CEO. But I think in the period that he was interviewed by Menno de Galan, in my opinion, he spoke like a true fan. That as a fan, that he said, "Listen, how can it be possible that Ajax buys three left wingers, or how can they buy these kind
Left
of
backs.
players?" And in my opinion, as a fan, he can say it right now because after he will be announced officially like the new CEO of Ajax, we're gonna hate the guy. Why? Because every time we're gonna have an interview with him, then he will be a diplomat. He will every question about Ajax, if it goes well, if it goes bad, he won't say a
Yeah,
thing.
but
He will say we will discuss it in a later moment, or I can't say nothing about it. So for now, of course it's
no,
maybe strange. It's strange that you're pointing it out like this, and also you're not talking with anybody of the press, but this guy Menno de Galan has suddenly the opportunity and ask you all these questions, and you are fully answering it. But for now, I think he's having a big mouth, and he wants to show everybody that he is the guy for Ajax. He already showed it, and now let make his words into deeds after he become
yeah.
official director.
No, but I mean, the thing is, this has an effect for the club as a whole. The things you say, although you're not working legally or officially for Ajax, it still has an impact. And what does that improve at this moment? What kind of improvement does it give? It
So
only gives a negative aspect, and this is something that we don't want. In a sportive way, it's already that bad. If
yeah.
we add this up, it won't help. It won't help.
No,
So
I get that.
why do it? Just you should be a fireman. You need to solve things and not create chaos, more chaos than we already in at the moment.
Yeah.
So you can.
No,
I mean, I'm a fan. I mean, I have my own opinion when I'm at work, but it
yeah.
doesn't mean I have to speak out to my manager or to the director or the CEO. It doesn't add up. It doesn't give any better. It doesn't give any better solutions. So I think it was a poor thing that he's done, and it will haunt him.
If I have small, I think in the end, I think he has some kind of master plan because he is not coming out all the time, but he has chosen certain moments to come with some words he is some things he's talking about, and I'm really curious what will be over of Alex Cruz after he starts at March 15 and he become the big boss at Ajax. We saw a lot of things also in the Telegraph that people will lose their jobs, cuts in things, etc.
Mhm.
I think it's part. That's my opinion. Part of a master plan that he really wants to. That he really knows what to do with Ajax, and that he's teasing. And then people will see what will happen after March 15th.
Guys, I just want to go to, of course, our fourth member. He's been very quiet, very polite, didn't say anything yet. But Kabir, you also had the opportunity to read, of course, what was about the general shareholders meeting on Friday. Anything you want to comment or maybe react to Ravish or Sahbi?
No, I think that there is obviously, one thing that was very interesting because obviously we've been hearing a lot about how, Sven Mislintat had carte blanche, 115 million euros that was given to him, and go and find the club players. But obviously she countered that somewhat by saying that, it's very, if you guys think that actually we allowed him to go into the market with our full budget and portfolio, then everyone is wrong because the way it works at Ajax is that you need at least two director signatures on every transfer that takes place. So there was obviously checks and balances, as the saying goes, which is interesting because if prior to this, obviously people would have probably thought that Mislintat had the full power to go and get whoever he wants. So that was an interesting point. And obviously, Michel from Prague with his fighting talk about how Ajax needs to become the new Real Madrid or become the Real Madrid of the Netherlands. I think that there is an element of probably lacking a little bit of EQ, maybe understanding and reading the room a little bit, because
Or maybe, to be honest, the way I read it was he's actually the best way to take away negativity is to bring in a little bit of humor into the room.
I agree, but there's a fine line between humor or positivity and delusion. I think that why don't we talk about actually figuring out what we could do? And he signs it off with a tongue-in-cheek comment by saying, "Hey, if we manage to maintain our lead in the match against RKC, we'll be seventh." So I understand that he's trying to bring that element of being jovial and let's look at the bright side, and this is what Ajax can do. But the problem is that when you make such statements, these things are always going to haunt you. If we look back,
because the flip side of it as well, some other people might not see it as being like a nice humor, but maybe a little bit condescending. Like exactly. we're not being taken seriously. I don't know if Ravish, you said how it was next to you when that comment was made.
He was he was the whole speech. I taped the speech. I listened it back. Actually, I was not allowed to do it, but I did it. I still did it. But he was real serious about that. The way he presented it, he got his mic on. He walked to in front of the stage. He presented himself. I'm Michael van Praag. I was former chairman, and I love to build websites right now. And I'm a drummer and I'm a singer. And then he opened his speech, and he started with a photo of that article in the Parool, and he was 100% serious about the fact that Ajax needs to become the Real Madrid of the Netherlands, because in his opinion, Real Madrid is a club of is a grand club. They have a culture. They have always their way of behaving and stuff. And then I was thinking, behaving, you forgot Mourinho's period, but the whole club, the whole everything of Real Madrid, he likes. The statue of Real Madrid, that's something Michael van Praag really loves. So he wants to see Ajax back. The only criticism I have on him, and unfortunately I didn't get the chance to ask him that, because like I said, he was quite annoying and it cut people off. We are now talking about a small era where Van Praag and Van Wijk returns to Ajax to help Ajax together with Louis van Gaal. But we all know Van Praag is 76. Van Wijk is even older. What will happen after that era? Because they already told after 2026 they won't be available for the board.
Yeah.
What era will be starting then? Because who can guarantee that they will form a new board that has affinity with Ajax, that knows how to deal with the emotions around Ajax? Because we already saw Pier Eriga thought he can do it by himself. He's gone. The other commissioners were sitting over there and, okay, look, I'm president, I'm working for Ajax. But you need to form a stable board that knows what Ajax is about and how Ajax can present themselves in the Eredivisie, but also in Europe. And I hope that Van Praag will take this period together with Kroes, together with Beuker, and I'm forgetting Klaver. What's the guy? Oh, Kelvin de Lang, the head scout. That they will form a new and better Ajax that can be resistible again when things will happen, but they can manage on a high level. And I hope that Van Praag will give us that information the coming period. And 27th of December, Danny Blind will be installed as the football commissioner. And hopefully I can ask Van Praag then that question, and I will tell what comes out of it.
Yeah. Kabir, I'm going back to you quickly because I had the feeling I cut you off a little bit. Was there something else you wanted to add to this topic, to the general shareholders meeting?
No. I think that we've covered off all topics. Obviously, super insightful, Ravish, what you were saying, because obviously you were there. And yeah, I mean, I don't know, somewhat worrying if you're saying that he was being deadly serious about becoming the Real Madrid of the Netherlands. That kind of also leads me to think a little bit of, is it all right there between the ears? But time will tell. I mean, he's obviously, got a very rich history at Ajax. He knows what it's like to be at the club when we were at our peak in the early mid 90s. So I have faith. I think that the right people are now sitting on in the right positions, and let's see where we go. I'm certainly, like most Ajax fans, I would hope, way more positive about the whole club now than I was, 4 or 5 weeks ago.
When Stan was in charge.
It's
When Stan was
interesting
in
to know.
When, of
Right?
course, when.
Yeah. All right.
Oh,
Go ahead.
100%.
Sorry.
No, I just want to say it's interesting to know to hear that first we want to be the Bayern Munich of the Netherlands. Now the Real Madrid.
Hold on.
What's next?
But did we as Ajax fans or
No,
anyone from
no.
Ajax ever say
The media
that?
did.
was
The
the
media.
media.
The media pushed that narrative. We never said that.
No,
Valentine Dries.
didn't Overmars say that as well?
No.
No,
Valentine
okay.
Dries said that.
I
Valentine
thought
Dries said
Overmars,
that.
I thought Overmars said it.
They asked him if
I think
no. They asked him also at the general board meeting, can Ajax become the Bayern München of the Netherlands? And then he said it could be, because Ajax was in that period. Tadic came, Blind came, and we were working to something, and then it all collapsed. But it was the media. It was a question. I believe it was asked by Lee Meinhardt, the previous chairman, before Erika. Yeah, before Erika. So that question came from there. But Van Praag really pronounced Real Madrid. And one fun fact: after each meeting, normally you're getting a present as a shareholder. There wasn't a present, so everybody was like, "Whoa, why? What happened?" Everybody was also aiming for that present, and there was no present, so everybody was quite
That's
surprised.
why you went. That's why you went
Oh.
to that meeting.
And you get some good stuff, right? Sometimes you get some good stuff, but no, the fun part is of these kind of meetings that you have really the opportunity to talk with the whole board and Menno Gele, Suzanne Lendering, everybody was available to talk with you, and they really took the time after the meeting, except Van Praag because he was thirsty. But we spoke with Jan van I spoke with Jan van Halst, and I asked him what kind of rumors there are around Bergwijn. He said there are some things possible in the coming winter period, but we will definitely think if there will be an offer for Bergwijn, because if you can get 40-50 million, you're crazy if you won't talk about it, especially during the January break.
But wait, is this 40-50 million? Is this something you're saying right now, or is it something he said?
No, he said he also read about those rumors, and
Yeah.
he said that he did like this. He really reacted like this when I asked him about the rumors about Bergwijn, and
So something is cooking, basically.
yeah, he didn't deny it. But
Okay.
my question was more based on the fact that does Ajax have money to do a transfer coming period? Because we all read that Ajax is searching for a six. But what are the opportunities to buy a player? He said there are things possible, but if there is an opportunity to sell players, we will definitely think about it.
Yeah.
And those kind of talks you have during those kind of meetings. So that's really fun.
Yeah. A couple of things I want to mention before I go to the comments. Also, things that I read that were interesting maybe to share as well. Maybe you guys want to react to that as well. One of the things was the Alex Cruz part. I believe, Ravish, you were there, of course. I believe Michael van Praag also explained, apart from the fact that he wasn't there, that it's not going to happen anymore because he and Van Gaal actually talked to AZ. They were in communications. And the lawyers basically looked at, whether there was something that could be done for the non-compete in the clause of Alex Cruz. But AZ basically closed the door and said, no, we're not going to look for a solution.
Bullshit.
Yeah, Van Praag told everybody that they had a talk with AZ, Louis van Gaal, and he went to Alkmaar to have a talk about Alex Cruz.
Yeah.
He didn't want to go deeper on the proposal that AZ did to Ajax, but like you just said, Juan, both lawyer teams discussed it, and Ajax said this wasn't possible. I believe it wasn't even ethical. Rumors were going about that proposal. And yeah, that's it. There is no way back for now. Van Praag didn't want to react on the question if the doors are closed for 100%, but he was really disappointed, and he was really he was pissed. He was pissed of how AZ shut down the talks of Cruz, and you could really see the disappointment on his face when he told us. And maybe Cruz will be joining the BAFA at December 27th after Christmas.
Yeah.
But
So the
for
BAFA,
now,
just quickly, the BAFA is the extraordinary general
correct.
meeting,
Yes.
which is planned on the 27th of December, in
Yeah.
which Danny Blind will be appointed as a technical member of the board.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. Another thing. Sorry, Sabi, you wanted to react to this?
No, I just want to express my my feelings on this shameless club AZ, because I mean, I can still remember the interview because the chairman or the CEO of AZ was at ESPN, Good Morning ESPN or something like that,
Yeah.
and they were promoting themselves like, no, Ajax should come to us. There are no issues. They need to come to us and we can discuss. There won't be any clauses or conditions, etc. We can discuss, and there are no issues. And now, when actually Van Gaal and Van Praag went to AZ to discuss any potential solution to get Alex Cruz starting way earlier, they come with unethical conditions, probably something like a general's agreement where we can't buy any players or we can't go for any employee of AZ or something like that. And then the lawyers discuss, and Ajax wants to have a new meeting, and they shut down everything. They don't even react to the proposal or proposal to meet. It's shameless. They were shameless, but now they prove again that they're a shameless club, and it shows.
Okay. Quickly, Kabir, your opinion about this? Do you feel the same way that Sahbi feels?
I just don't really. I just think that the guys that run AZ, whilst they've done a lot of good work for the club, there's no denying that. I just feel like they've got such a big chip on their shoulder when it comes to Ajax. Like, is it Robert Einhorn and Max Uberts and all those guys? They they're with their swollen faces and like, it's something about their aura and their persona just puts me off. Look, they clearly have done excellent work for AZ, but I agree with what you're saying, Sabi, that they made it seem like it wasn't their fault. It was Ajax's, hesitancy. No. But then, like you said, and also you got to remember, Sabi and Ravish Khan, that this is not just anyone. This is Louis van Gaal, someone who actually delivered them a league title. So the level of respect.
Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying that they should have.
Of course, that should be the first thing. But the fact is, I mean, of course, Ajax needed AZ because AZ are in their rights. But the fact that they publicly state Ajax should come to us, we can negotiate. There's nothing we will. And the reporter, the interviewer, asked the CEO. Will you negotiate that Ajax won't get any players from or any employees from AZ? No, we won't do that. We won't do that. They completely ignored everything related to those topics. But now it seems like it is a topic, and they don't want to cooperate. It's ridiculous.
But consider this, Kabir, Sahbi, Juan, that AZ don't want to sell a player or employer to Ajax. And then you could consider that they will receive, I don't think it will happen ever, but that Ajax will do an offer of almost 150 million euros, and then AZ will say no because they don't want to sell a player to Ajax. So you consider that how these guys are thinking. Every club can buy any player or any trainer of us, but if Ajax comes around, we will do like idiots. Let me call it.
For me, this is a solidarity principle, and always when there are topics about Europe and how the Eredivisie has to perform in Europe, and also when it comes to the licenses, TV licenses, etc., all the other teams that are not Ajax, Feyenoord, and PSV, but mostly Ajax, they are very dependable on Ajax being sold in the same package internally, but also abroad, because they benefit also from the TV money. So why am I taking this as an example? Because I feel, looking only at the solidarity principle, that you have to realize what type of club you are, right? I'm not saying AZ is not a serious club or anything like that, but I'm just saying the biggest club, there is no discussion about whether AZ or Ajax is the biggest club, right? Let's be honest. Even though this is an Ajax channel, this is an objective say.
Still, they want to compete. Still, they want to compete.
No, they can compete, but it's not the same. You cannot say
No,
AZ. Like, if you ask most of the people at AZ or the players, you want to go to Ajax and they get a real offer, most of them, 70 to 80%, will say yes. The only thing I would say to AZ is you cannot block that. It doesn't make sense. You cannot block somebody that wants to make a better career choice, earn more money. That goes against the principle of free, like free. How do you call it?
I know what you say.
So people can transfer anywhere they want. People can go from one employer to another, etc. But if AZ wants to protect themselves, then they should include clauses like they did. So in the sense of the non-compete clauses, to be honest with you, there's nothing we can say to AZ about that. Ajax signed it. He signed it with his lawyers or without his lawyers. So basically, they have in that, if you only look at the non-compete, they have every right to do what they're doing. Yeah. They don't have to.
Exactly. But that was not the point, eh? That was not the point.
That's not the point.
Exactly. But it all boils down to the non-compete. However you look at it.
Yeah, but
at the end, exactly. I agree.
Exactly. All right, guys. I just wanted to say two more things before I go to the comments. One thing we have to mention is Van der Sar. It was basically Van der Sar was complimented as far as I could read, Ravish. Of course, they were happy that he's doing well again. And also they basically Van Praag and also Menno Gele were positive about the fact that what he meant for Ajax and what he's done for Ajax, especially when he was the general director or CEO and being in those, being part of the European Club Association of the UEFA.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, they really compliment him for what he has done as for Ajax, but also for the Dutch football. Menno Gele also read the letter of Van der Sar to us that he's happy that things are going well. He's recovering. His recovery is going quite good, and hopefully we will meet again. In all honesty, Van der Sar did some good things for Ajax, but as a speaker, it was tremendous. The guy was so annoying to hear. If you had a speech of Van der Sar during the general meetings and then Menno Gele came afterwards, then it was so good to hear Menno instead of Edwin. But they were really generous about Edwin Van der Sar, and hopefully, we will see him again in what kind of position at Ajax.
Yeah, most important thing for us, of course, is that he's healthy, he's doing well, and apart from the fact that what he did at the end, not making the best choices, we still can say that he has the best interest at heart for Ajax. And before that, when he was working together with Overmars and Ten Hag, it was a good triangle. Let's be honest. We always said that. Last thing I wanted to say is that this was something that made me chuckle a little bit. Maybe you guys can react to that, but there were some shareholders or fans that were really pissed with the signing of last summer, and then the question was raised to Van Praag, like, you guys bought all these failures, let me put it this way, and then Van Praag basically stopped it and said, like, listen, you're talking basically, or you're reacting from emotional perspective, but we have to give these players some time as well. And then he gave an example about Liedmanen, right? That Liedmanen also had time to be done. What was the overall reaction to that answer, Ravish?
So people were a little laughing about it. They were they look like talking about Liedmanen. But I understand the example that Van Praag gave. I didn't know that it took him a whole year in Ajax 2, but we don't need to forget that some of these players are coming from other cultures, from other countries, other way of playing, and we are real as supporters. We don't have patience. if we buy a player for that kind of money, we really want to perform right away. We want to see that, and I think that and we will talk about it later. That those players really need to get a chance and give them some time. They need to acclimate. They also need to find themselves in Amsterdam, a big city, and those guys are youngsters. So I could really agree with what Van Praag saying, and people were also, some were laughing, some were shouting at him from "What are you talking?" Some rubbish things, but it was 50-50.
All right. Let me go through the comments, guys, quickly. I have Christian. Thank you for your question, gentlemen. Has anyone of you read the book of Manuel de Galon? I think Sahbi, you were referring to that book that was released last week. If anyone has read it, can you please give your opinion on it? I haven't read it yet. I'm still planning to.
Yeah.
Anyone?
I did.
Yeah, you read it completely,
Yeah. Fully. Yeah.
So what's your opinion, Ravish?
He's quite an insider. I was really curious who he talked with, because the person he talked with for this book didn't want to share their memoirs first, but later in other talks they said, okay, let's do it. He had some good inside info of how the appointment of Cruz went when he was seen as first candidate for Mark Overmars.
Yeah.
So it was, for me as a fan. I read the other books also of Men of the Galant. It was really interesting to see. He talked a little about the family Nouri, and I believe that he made a mistake over that the family wanted 60 million. But overall, it was a good book to read. It was not a big book, a small book.
Yeah. Is there anything, because look, we've went extensively through that period, and there was so much news coverage during that period about what went wrong. There were reconstruction by Voetbal International, by Algemeen Dagblad, by.
Yeah.
So my question would be, if I pick up this book and I start reading it, are there pieces of information that is completely new to us for the really Ajax fans that follow everything?
Yeah, especially the part with Cruz, how he reacted.
Yeah.
That was quite new. Also, the fact how Leen Meijert was walking between those parties, how to manage it quite well. So yeah, for I think for people who were who did not follow everything in the media, this will be a good book to read. And I really loved it to read.
It's an easy read as well, you said.
Definitely.
Okay. All right. DC is saying, hold on. I have DC commenting on what you said, Sahbi, and he's saying, look, there's nothing shameless about AZ basically not wanting to help Ajax. Ajax needs a solution and not AZ.
That's not what I was referring to, but
no, but you said, listen. Yeah, go ahead.
Related to the ESPN part.
Okay, correct. Know? But still, if you that I agree with the way they behave there, but still, do you agree with the fact that they don't owe us anything, basically?
No, true, of course. I mean, legally, Cruz is needs to abide to his contract, so that's clear. And they want to negotiate. AZ can ask for anything, so to say, but to give to give an impression on live television that stating they can come to us, we will not ask for something specific. We will not ask for a new gentleman's agreement. There's nothing. There's nothing true on with that. And then a month later, or 1 month, 2 months, I don't know when, they shut down the complete negotiation based on I don't know. Then for me, it's shameless.
Just be open about it. Basically, that's what you're saying.
Just be open about it, indeed, and be true to your words.
Yeah, so DC is also commenting at the end. You guys are truly watching it from an Ajax view. There's no reason for AZ to give their whatever manager up for nothing. All right, I think we covered that already. Look, guys, I want to switch to a bit of a sad news that we heard early this week. So Branko van der Boomen was operated. He had a surgery, I think, end of last week, Friday, I believe, and on his knee. He has a knee injury and he has to recover. Basically, he's out for at least this calendar year, 2023. We were hoping we could see him again after the international break because he was giving us a little bit of hope on that midfield. I wanted to ask you guys also, like, how are we going to solve this? Because we saw against Almere City that it was a little bit difficult, the build-up play, the midfield, etc. And one of the solutions that we always tend to see, and I'm not trying to hate on Taylor, but usually Taylor is the one that always gets a preferential treatment to be a number 6 and help with the build-up play. But we've seen that he struggles with that role. So my question is to you, like, how should we go about this going into the Vitesse game on Saturday? Kabir, let me go with you first. What would you do? How would you solve this?
Well, I mean, it's obviously a difficult one because Branco's, the way he plays and what he adds to our midfield is obviously something which I don't think is a like-for-like replacement. Obviously, he's very direct with his passing. His ability to provide the aerial balls, cross-pitch passing is something which is very direct. And it's also nice for someone like a Sutalo who can give the ball to him and then he can do his thing, So like for like, it's tough. I think that, look, how I would look to set up, it's obviously Vitesse. They're having a rough time of it. They're probably the only club in the Eredivisie that are having a rougher time of it than we are, really. So I think that's
they also made a change now, right? So
they made a change. So you had the fresh wind and all of that sort of stuff. Yeah, you got to watch out for them. But look, I feel personally that Kenneth Taylor has had one chance too many. So I don't really foresee him in my starting 11, to be honest with you. I think that, Foss obviously for me has to start.
Yes. Which role?
Well, definitely as a sort of the defensive midfielder.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel that he's the guy that has he's showing the passion, he's showing the will, he's showing the energy. And I think that that's what you need at this stage, definitely, and obviously a youth player, so that helps as well. Then look, I would I know Tahirovic didn't have a good game against Almeida. Obviously, he scored the 2-1, but then his silly error meant that we conceded the penalty. But I would have him in the team as well. I would have him in the team. And then I would have my number 10 would be Berghuis as the number 10. Because I just don't think that Berghuis on the right is working out. Because Berghuis, when he was playing for Feyenoord on the right, was a very different Berghuis to what this current version is. You see, he's also clearly, visibly very frustrated that he's not playing with good players.
Yeah. You would take out Linson basically and Taylor.
I would, yes, but Taylor because of poor performances, and I don't think he's worthy of it. But Linson just because I feel that he's a young guy, and I don't want there to be a situation where if he plays every game, he starts every game, and he doesn't all of a sudden start performing at the level that we've seen previously, where it could affect his confidence. I see him more as a guy because of his technical ability, his ability to play in the gaps. Maybe if the second half or maybe the last 30 minutes, or if opposition's legs get a little bit tired, there are more gaps, then he comes into his own a bit more, is what I feel. But this would be my starting 3 in midfield.
And you think by starting those 3 players, you have basically everything covered. You have the defensive side covered. You have the creativity covered. You have dynamic, basically, from those players as well on the midfield. Everything is in place. They complement each other, in your view?
I think so. I think you've got the defensive prowess of a Foss. You've got the central midfield ability of Tahirovic, and you've got the attacking ability of Berghuis.
All right. Let me go with Sahbi. Thank you for that, Kabir. Sahbi, you're looking very serious. I don't know if that's because you agree with Kabir or you're like, no, man, I don't agree. I have something else in mind.
No, I mean, he has some great points, obviously. Kabir knows his shit. But I would look at it game by game. If I look, I mean, I fully agree with him. With regards to Vos, put him on a 6. We don't have any other potential number 6 who can do the build up, but also taking out all the balls and cutting off passing lines and so on. He has confidence. He's a youth player. He's doing quite well. So give him the time to develop at this point, at this moment. With regards to the number 10 position, I would look at it game by game. If we needed a 10, for example, against Vitesse, I think we would need a 10 who should play a little bit close to Brobbey, so who can go into the penalty area, go cut inside, go deep, and I think Chuba would be the man who can do that, in my opinion. Especially, I'm of the opinion you should play players at the position where they feel comfortable. And he always said, I'm someone who likes to play as a 10, not having like a specific role, and tries to be more close to the striker. And if you play against
who said that?
Chuba himself.
Okay, yeah, Chuba. Okay.
Yeah. So I would play him for Vitesse. I would play him, and then in the number 8 position, I would opt for either Tahirovic or for Hlinson. Because Hlinson, I'm quite intrigued by him, the way he plays, the work ethic that he has. He has quite a good shot, and yeah, he's doing well. So why take him out?
Don't you feel Hlinson is really a typical number 10?
No, I think he can play 10 and an 8.
Okay, all right.
Just like Berghuis could play the 10 and the 8, because I fully agree with Kabir. Berghuis is not the right winger. He said it himself. He's not a right winger. He knows more, he has players in his own squad that can do way better. He basically said that. So play him as a 10, play him as an 8. But in my view, he's not playing structurally quite well. He has his ups, he has his downs. Elison's doing well. Chuba is in form. He can score goals. We like to attack. We're playing against Vitesse, so play Chuba.
All right, Ravish, you had time to digest everything. What's your opinion on the midfield?
Well, I agree with Kabir. I wouldn't play with Taylor, especially because he's really seeking for his form at Ajax. Strangely enough, at Jong Oranje, he plays real well. So I don't know what's going on over there and what's going on in Amsterdam.
He has a different role, right? He has a different role at Jong Oranje. So
yeah, and I think also that the results there are quite good. So you're playing in a machine. I think they didn't lose a game yet in this qualification. For the number 10, I also heard Sahbi saying, and Kabir also, that Vos is a right replacement because he's a youth player, but Taylor is the same. So I think that's a little double for me because
not only youth player. I mean, as an addition, Vos, it's 6 is his position, and not Taylor. It's not his position.
No, but I think Taylor is victim of the fact that we don't know where to put him, especially also with Schreuder. I think if Taylor would play in the 18-19 team, that we would have any comment on him. But against Almere, against Almere, you saw that strike hit the post. Maybe if that was a goal that could give him the boost that he was seeking for. But going back to the topic, I think Berghuis is, in my opinion, also the best 10. He's not a right winger. I should always go for Forbes or another player with the same capacity. And I would play with Tahirovic, Vos, Tahirovic, Bergwijn for now. Berghuis, sorry.
Yeah, the thing is, I've mentioned this I think the last week stream as well, or it was 2 weeks ago, I don't remember. But I also had this discussion about Berghuis being a number 10. The problem is, what I see is whether he can do it or not. I know he can play as a 10. The problem is Bergwijn, in my opinion, because Bergwijn also he kind of navigates into the 10 role during the game. He doesn't stick to the sidelines like a left winger. So then you will have Bergwijn and Berghuis in the middle. Does that work in your opinion?
To whom you're asking?
And anyone.
No, in my view, it wouldn't work, and that's why I opted more for a Chuba, because he would be more in the penalty area, in the 16-yard box, while Bergwijn can cut inside. He often does that. That's his signature move. He cuts inside and then does the necessary shooting or whatever. But indeed, I don't think it will be a good mix if you put in if you have Berghuis on a 10 position. We've seen that a lot, but
they both want to have a free roll a little bit. They both want to drift to open spaces, get the ball, receive the ball. I don't know if it would work. It would only work if there were really like instructions, like, clear instructions. Bergwijn gets it in a certain area of the pitch. Bergwijn, sticks at the side as a left winger, in my opinion.
I don't think Dog Bard's too happy with what's being discussed. I don't think he agrees.
That's fine. Doesn't matter. I
think. Sorry. No, Kabir, go ahead.
Kabir.
I was saying we were looking at the comments. I was reading the comments. That's it.
All right. So, Ravish, go ahead.
I think an Ajax with confidence could then it could work with Berghuis and Bergwijn in a free role, and that they can do all the position change that we used to see at Ajax. But for now, because we are still seeking for form, seeking for confidence, it's best to go back to basic. Bergwijn as a left winger, try Berghuis as a number 10, Brobbey as a striker, and then maybe Forbes on the right. If you want to play, and I think you could also try that against Vitesse. You can play Berghuis again as a right winger, but as a false right winger, and play with Chuba, and Chuba closer to Brobbey. Because I think that Chuba is the person who can also launch Brobbey by heading the ball through, and Brobbey with his speed and his strength can be can make the difference. So you can also try that, but for now, Ajax need to go back to basic, seek the form, seek confidence, and then maybe you can work on it during the winter break, and maybe then you can try it if Bergwijn won't be sold this winter to work on a team where both Berghuis and Bergwijn get the free role, and then hopefully we get a player who can be the defensive missing link, and that could work for Ajax.
All right, just to summarize a little bit, all three of you were of the opinion that on the 6, the DM role, to help with the build-up, the best possibility right now is to try out Vos on that position, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, totally agree.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Let me go with the comments, guys, quickly before we go to the next subject. Jerry is saying Taylor has mental problems because his technical abilities are on point. I think this team misses leaders who aren't afraid to set a teammate straight when they're lacking.
Yeah.
Dogboard, I think that's what Kabir was referring to, does not agree entirely with Berghuis' 10. He's saying he's not dynamic enough for the 10 position, and also adding to that, he's saying he's too emotional. He's also asking, what about Mansverk? He's still injured, right? He's not fit yet, I think. So for now, not an option yet, but we're all anxious to see him play, of course.
They think that he will be back after the winter break.
Yeah, exactly. So Jerry is saying, come on, Sahbi. Akpom has bricks as shoes. You don't have to play as Özil, but that guy can only finish, but nothing more.
Well, that's exactly my point, right? That's why I stated he should play close to Brobbey in the game against Vitesse, so he can finish off those balls. Just like Donny van de Beek always plays close to the striker, just like Klaassen plays always close to the striker, going to that space that's open. That's what he's doing best. And exactly my point.
We're really gonna miss Van der Boomen. That's so bad. Yeah. That's so poor. Because
there was an article last week, a couple of days ago, I believe, from VI Football International. Very good, actually, article in which they came up with a couple of stats. Basically, he's the player that creates most chances for Ajax, exactly. As much as Berghuis and Bergwijn together, that was very interesting to me because he plays much deeper than the other two. And also another thing that was very interesting was he's the one with the most passes in the final third. compared to every other Ajax player. And that's, remarkable because Van der Bomen didn't play all the games, especially with Stijn. He didn't play a lot of games. So, yeah, man, that it only tells you how important he was. But we could see it at the end, prior to his injury. We could see how important he was.
Can I ask a short
quick,
question?
Very quick.
Yeah, what do you guys think about the fact that Brobbey asked for a specialist trainer, that he will train with Johnny Bosman? But shouldn't we also need a specialist trainer for the dead game moments? Because if you look at the corners and the free kicks right now, in the past we had Schöne, we had some specialists, but right now, if we get a corner, it's not dangerous anymore.
When Bakati was hired, I thought he was the one that had
but I mean a specialist guy who's really training on getting a good corner, getting a good free kick, like you used to do after the training when people were take the ball, take a wall, and exercise to get a better kick.
Are you talking about as a team or as a single player trainer?
No, like listen, if you see how Van der Bomen, he's opening every game, every ball to the left, to the right, like it's nothing. We don't have any other players who have that ability right now. In the past, we had a Schöne, we had the Heitinga, Alderweireld, Vertongen. They had the pass, but who? There's nobody else right now who can do that.
Wait until the winter break.
Yeah, I hope. But my point is that if Bosman is able to make Brobbey a better header and a better striker, if we have Richard Witsche. He had an amazing kick with his left foot.
Yeah, I think it comes down to one of the balances that are missing in the team. Probably is also this one.
Yeah.
So we lack a little bit of leadership, but we also lack a little bit of this. It has been said before. We don't really have set piece specialists in the team. That's correct.
Yeah.
Let me go with nickname. Nickname is saying, I'm most excited to see if John van het Schip will finally play Bergwijn where he is best, on the bench. Okay. I don't think that will happen, nickname, but we'll see. Jerry is saying, I would play Missouri as a 10. Talking about Missouri, nice bridge. Thank you, Jerry. There was an article today with Ajax Live. Still, this has been ongoing for quite some time. As you know, Missouri is still in negotiations. Yeah, about contract extension. And basically he said, like, look, I want to stay at Ajax. It's my home. I've played here 11 years. But it also has to do with the plan. What plan does Ajax have with me? I want to, my development is important. I also have to do it myself. I have to show myself. I know that. But I want more opportunities or chances also with the first team. Now, some of the fans are questioning whether that's the true intention or whether it's a money issue. Let me go with you, Ravish. What do you think it is? Do you think he's being true to what he's saying? Like, is it really the plan or is it more the money?
I think it's a two-way thing. Of course, I can imagine that he wants to know what plan has Ajax with him, but he also needs to show it. He's still a young guy. Of course, I can imagine that if Manchester City offers you a great salary, you will definitely doubt from what will be the best next step. But I think the way to get a better plan from Ajax is to show you each week on the training and during the matches, and that's you need to speak with your foot, and then.
But can I say something? And I'm not trying to be very negative here, but don't you find it strange that all of a sudden Amoricho is with the first squad while he was injured for quite some time?
Yeah, true.
And let's be honest, Missouri, prior to his injury, now I think he's back, I'm not sure, but a couple of weeks ago, he was like showing at young Ajax week in, week out.
Yeah, I think that was also a power play of Stijn against Mislintat, that he looked at young Ajax, what player could be interesting, and at that time we also had some personal problems at front, and that's why he took Amoricho. I was also surprised because everybody said that Amoricho wasn't that fit, but the best way to show yourself is show yourself at the training and during the matches, and then Ajax definitely, because we love to have our own talents playing in the first team, then they will pick him. But I can understand also for him it's frustrating to see a Vos, a Lisson, and all the other guys that are already going through. But again, you need to answer with your foot, and then it will come by itself. That's my opinion.
Kabir, your opinion about this?
Yeah, look, I think that he's someone that has a lot of talent, right? In terms of what he can achieve. And I think that when he's played in the first team, he's done very well. But I think that, yeah, look, it could be an element of being a power play for sure. But these types of players need to understand that it's not always about the money. And what I mean by that is that if they get given a contract at Ajax, their first professional contract or an extension, whatever it may be, they're still going to be much better paid than the average 17-year-old or 18-year-old in the Netherlands, right? And they're going to be given a professional contract. They're going to be given the opportunity to make it at the club that they are as a youth player. And I'm assuming growing through the ranks, that's your dream, because they all say, we want to play in the arena. We want to play in the arena.
Yeah.
That's more important.
Yeah. You know what's funny? You triggered me. I know I'm deviating a little bit. It's not football related, but I saw a few months ago, I saw this Instagram post of Michael Jordan saying once, nowadays get athletes, everybody, they're paid for their potential. They're not paid for what they can show. In his time, you would get the payment after what you're putting on the board, what you're doing, game in, game out, which is actually what, triggered me with what you're saying about you shouldn't be focused too much on the money right now. But it's easy for us to say that, right?
But look at Freddie Adu. A small side step, but look at Freddie Adu. 14, 15
I don't
years
know if
old.
everybody know who Adu is. Maybe you should.
The OG football manager, like legend that everyone would sign.
Exactly, but the guy was 14, 15 years old, got a million contract with Nike, was brought as the next best thing that America had.
The next Pele, right? I believe. The next Pele. The next Pele,
exactly. Yeah. And look what happened, because he made such poor choices. And I totally agree with what Kabir said. Go for Ajax, because that's the place where you will get chances, instead of going to Manchester City, where you'll be one of the 100 and go to loan club to loan club to loan club, and then you will sold to a Girona or something. I totally agree with you, Kabir.
Yeah. And Robbie was the most recent example, right? When there was we couldn't come to an agreement with him, he went to Leipzig and he came running back with his tail between his legs 6 months later. Well, not so much actually. We forked out, what was it, 16 million? How much?
The thing is, that's true in terms of his progress. It didn't. I mean, he maybe paused for a year in his development, but he didn't pause in terms of how much money he earned. So let's be honest about that as well.
I know his neighbor. His teacher is my neighbor, and we were talking about this fact. And she told me that when he was in Leipzig, they were apping, and he said it was a poor choice I made. I really regret the fact that I went to Leipzig, and I made a bet with his teacher. I told her he will be back in 6 months, because he was too young. And then she came back to me and she told me you were right, that because he was too young. He went there with his brother. She told me he went there with one of his brothers, but his potential he couldn't. Yeah, he was totally lost in Leipzig, and back in Amsterdam, he was his old self again.
Yeah, that's true. Guys, quickly, I have a question here. Any news on Martijn Beuker as a TD for Ajax, for Murder Inc.? Actually, right before we went into the stream, there was Football International, I think. They said Ajax is closing on an agreement with Beuker, so it means it might happen soon, which is good. So that's important. Let me see. Murder Inc. is also basically confirming what you said, Ravish. His brother Kevin was with him at Leipzig all this time. Yeah, so that's important. Then Christian is saying, gentlemen, before the winter break, we have 5 league matches, 2 Europa League matches, and a cup match. What are your expectations? Do we play Europa League or Conference League and cup match in 2024? Because Hercules away, always difficult, guys. No, but seriously, what do you guys think? Expectations, quickly.
Look, I think that in the previous podcast that we had, I think my expectations were made clear in terms of our European aspiration.
No, it wasn't your expectations. You were actually saying it might be better not to play Europe in the second half of the season. That's what you said.
I was purely saying that if we want to try and focus as much as possible on the Eredivisie to end as high as possible, maybe having the distraction of the Conference League might not be the best thing. But look, I think putting that aside, two Europa League matches. I think we've got Marseille obviously away, where there's going to be no away fans, and then we've got. Correct me if I'm wrong, but
Athens home game.
Athens. So we've got Marseille away. I have no expectations. I think that's a bridge too far in terms of getting a result. I think Athens at home, maybe with the crowd behind us, etc. We could maybe get a draw. I still find it very tough to see us winning. So I think a loss against Marseille, I think a draw against Athens. I do think that we should be in a position to beat Vitesse. And then I think we've got Nijmegen, if I'm not mistaken, looking at here as well. We've got we've got Nijmegen, Waalwijk again, but at Waalwijk, so that's tricky.
No, but the Waalwijk
There's a few minutes. Those are the minutes.
3-2, 3-2. But again, could potentially still be tricky. You never know. If we're giving away penalties through dumb sliding tackles like we did against Almere, 6 minutes can be a long time. And then Sparta Rotterdam at home, and then Zwolle. So look, I think that all in all, I have decent hope when it comes to the domestic games, but I feel that the European games will be tough. I think, as I say, 1 point from the 2 games, and then we should definitely be beating an amateur team in the.
Okay, cup. So in summary, we will be out of the European competition going into January. That's what you're saying. If I hear you correctly with the points and what you're thinking, we will go through in the cup. We will win from here. In terms of which position will we be at around January? We'll be 6th, 5th. What do you think?
Well, currently, if I look at it now, we're at 12th, right? So I think, like Michel van Praag said, if we manage to survive those 6 minutes against RKC, we can go 7th. So look, I think that we will be between position 5 and 7 going into the winter break.
5 and 7. Okay.
So either 5, 6, or 7.
5, 6, or 7. Sahbi.
I think we'll go to the Conference League. I think it will be a win against Athens at home. I don't see Athens as a real good club. I think we managed a bit as well already in Athens. And at home.
You know what's funny? Even though we're so bad, Ajax fans will always say that, right? I don't think the other team is that good, so we can win.
No, but I mean, at our worst, we performed quite okay in Athens.
True. Okay, that's true.
And now we play at home, so that's my reasoning. And against Marseille, it's going to be really difficult. So I think a 3rd spot would be the best position we can get. I think we will win all the domestic matches.
All of them.
All of them.
Wait.
We'll win
this one.
Sorry?
Can we clip what you're just saying right now?
Clip it.
You think we'll win every game?
No. So against the NEC, against the RKC, Vitesse, we will win those games.
So from now until December, all the domestic games in the Eredivisie, we will win all of them.
Yeah, I mean, how many matches are there? 5 league matches.
Look. We've got Vitesse at home. We've got Nijmegen away.
Yeah. Okay, but still can
then
win
we've got the 6-7 minutes against Waalwijk.
Yeah. Away.
Already won.
Okay, then we got Sparta Rotterdam at home.
It's a home game. We will win it.
Then we got Zwolle at home.
Easy. I'm not saying we're going to win 3-4-0. It's going to be a 2-1, 3-2.
Okay.
But we will win those matches.
Fair enough.
If that comes true and we win all these domestic games, what position do you think we will be in going into January? In the Eredivisie?
5th.
5th. Ravish, what about you?
I'm doubting about Europe because I don't have confidence with Marseille away, but I don't fully agree with Sahbi that Athens at home will be an easy game because at moments that we need to play against Valencia and other home games, we weren't there.
Never said an easy game. Never said it.
No, 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 no. I no,
You
I
can look
don't say
back.
it easy. No, you said that Athens is not a good club, but I think that Ajax will have a difficult against
I
Athens
think
at
they
home.
will win it. Yeah.
I'm not sure. So I'm doubting 50-50 Europe. But then, of course, the Conference League. Domestic games, the only thing I hope is that we will be on the left spot on the left row of of the table. So maybe
Top
7 or 8.
9. Top 9,
Sorry?
basically. Top 9.
Yeah, top nine, top nine. Because I'm not as confident as Sahbi is of going to NSA away. Sparta, I think okay, the home games you should win, but yeah, we all saw that even that is difficult for us, winning all the home games. And Nijmegen uit can be tricky because maybe that's a real early game, right, Kabir?
Yeah,
12.
Nijmegen is, if I'm not mistaken, let me just check. That is like yeah, early
12.
12. Yeah.
Yeah, then those games are always shit games of Ajax. Sorry for the language, but yeah, I hope top nine. And Heracles away. I was in the Galgenwaard against Utrecht. Always tough.
All right. I want to end the podcast, guys, but just asking one more question. It was also mentioned in the Football International quickly that Blind was an opportunity last summer. So after his spell at Bayern Munich, he could have been playing for Ajax, but it was declined basically, also by Sven. Looking at that piece of information, looking back at this, it's always easy to look back, but what do you feel about that when you read it? Sahbi, let me go with you first.
Is that your last question?
This is my final question.
Okay.
Correct.
No, I think it's if you look at it from a broader perspective, I think it's a good choice to not bring him in. Mainly, it would stagnate the development of Hato if Blind would play as a left center back. I mean, Hato is basically our best player at the moment, even one of the vice captains. So it's basically a good thing that he plays, and he's even an international playing for the Dutch national squad. Playing as a left back, I don't know whether that would mean that we wouldn't have any new left backs. So if it's only Blind and Salahdin, I don't think that quality-wise, I don't think that will be that great. And Blind wouldn't accept a bench role at Ajax. Maybe at Bayern Munich, but at Ajax, if he would come back, he would be a player that wants to play as much as possible. The only thing that we would miss is the experience, because that is something that's lacking. It's all we all know that, and it's something that we need to bring in, and it's known. And probably in the winter break, we will get somebody who is experienced and has an added value on the pitch or and within squad. But by having only experience is not sufficient.
But you know what, Sabi, I'm listening to you, right? And I understand what you're saying. But maybe some fans are thinking, yeah, you can say that, but he's playing at Girona in Spain, top of the table, and he's playing very good with the squad. And he's playing against very good teams.
Exactly. But what does that say? I mean, there are several players who are playing good at other clubs but don't play that well at Ajax.
Okay.
So, I mean...
Clear. Kabir, let me go with you. Do you agree? Do you have the same thoughts?
Yeah, I don't know. I think that maybe that ship has sailed, and you have to sort of close that chapter. I think it would have been a little bit too fresh, too early. You know, he left under the circumstances that he did. Coming back, he's obviously I was never ever, to be honest, one of those Ajax fans that would criticize him about his speed or this or that. I always understood the value he brought to the club on the pitch, and I just think that he came back. It was great, and that's it now. And hopefully, when he next comes back, it'll be like he said in the press on a couple of occasions, more in a post-football role. You know, like to get his diplomas and to maybe start coaching youth teams and all that sort of stuff and work his way up. But His time as a player came. It was great. It's happened twice now. Move on. Wish him the best at Girona, and hopefully the team can remain flying high in La Liga.
Yeah, one of the things that I would say, though, he said that, after his playing career, he is planning on coming to Ajax, for getting his licenses, maybe started the youth. So this is very positive,
Definitely.
Ravish.
Yeah.
I have nothing to add, the guys. That ship has sailed. Make him come back after his career. He can be maybe a director or a good youth trainer. He has no value, I think, for Ajax on this level anymore.
Okay, quickly 2 comments I want to show. Dogboard is saying Blind would be mustard after the meal. That's the Dutch expression. Thank you for that. And Christian is saying, with all due respect, but besides the traditional top 4 club in Spain, the rest of the teams are pretty shy. I was at a Spanish game the day before the Real away, and oh my dear Lord, it sucked. All right. One more, because that just popped up. Nickname. People keep bringing up Blind as if he's the only left-footed defender that will fit our style. Yeah, exactly. All right. I want to thank everybody for joining. I think the women are playing right now against Roma. Am I correct?
Yeah, correct.
Or maybe you can tune off and watch that game. They're doing pretty well. So let's see. Thank you for joining, guys. Please, if you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel. Give us a like. We'll be back on Saturday after the game against Vitesse. We'll have a game talk. See you then. Take care. Bye.